Namaste. It seems to be that it's human nature that we're drawn to the dark side of life. I know as a kid, growing up in the neighborhood I was in, I always wanted to be the people that the badasses always talked about. You know, they always talked about how crazy this person was or how crazy that person was. So I made it my goal, I guess, to become the craziest motherfucker they've ever known. I don't remember actually saying it, but I think that deep down inside I wanted it. So then I became it. And it was so much so that after I left that neighborhood, moved out to Colorado, then joined the Army and came down to Texas and has been living in Texas ever since, to where the Guatemalans call me Loco Cabeza. I looked that up, and at the time I took pride in it, only because everybody knew not to fuck with me. But why? I'll tell you why, because I lost a lot of fights when I was younger. Because I was bullied. So therefore I wanted to be the one that I didn't have to walk into a place or a room where I was going to get fucked with. Now, of course, I didn't have all this. And to be honest with you, I've got like what they call a weak chin sits underneath. So I've made it my mission to be the baddest dude wherever I go. However, now it's different. Because people who love or respect you out of fear, you can't trust them. Because after a while, they'll then seek your destruction. And I was already pretty self-destructive to begin with. Now I want to be a badass for love, in which I am now. Sure, I'll still rant at a few people on here. I'll still invite a few people down to Belton, Texas. And yes, if they ever show up, I will fucking go to blows with them. But for the most part, all I want is just to be respected for the intense love and loyalty that I give. Even though a lot of my friends obviously didn't share that same thing with me. Which I can't blame them. I was off the charts back then. But still, it happens. Another thing that seems to be a human characteristic is that we take each other for granted. And for granted, I have. It all starts with your family. Then it moves on to that other word I don't like, friends. And, you know, you're shaped and formed by the things that you live through. I seem to get more love, and I give more love to strangers. Just by being a positive freaking dude, man. And especially, I guess, looking this way now, you know. Look, I could still lose a fight, even though I haven't in the last, 56, 30 years. But really, what's that mean anyway? Win or lose? It always feels like shit. We need to stop taking each other for granted. Even if you have to step aside, step away, disappear, and then come back. Now, Unfortunately for my family, that won't happen until I transcend on my continuance day, or what everybody calls death. Then it's going to be a party of love, joy, true understanding that could not be reached here. I watched some famous people of whom I've had disagreements with do some wonderful things, and especially for the children who are battling life-threatening and quite oftentimes life-taking diseases. Who are we? When we were little kids, all we wanted to do was be inclusive to each other. You know, not only just to be wanted, but just to want to include everybody. It didn't matter about the color. It didn't matter about the creed, the background. And now, thanks to the media, everybody's mindset is, oh, we're a divided nation. We are not a divided nation unless you have bought into it and have chosen to see things divisive. We take life and each other for granted. Why? Because I mean the people who still have their moving limbs and stuff, and we can walk and talk and do everything on our own, go to work, come home, and we're in, relatively great shape. But what would these sick children tell you? The same thing that the elderly who can no longer do their own thing, are in hospitals or in nursing homes, can tell you. Which is what God has been saying the entire time. To be here for each other and not against each other. God bless you. I love you. And I love the love that you all give to each other without condition.